Hello, in this part we are going to take a look at the standard C calling convention 1, which is CDECL. Okay, so the C language by default uses the CDECL calling convention, but most compilers allow the programmer to specify another convention via a specifier keyword, and these keywords are not part of the ISO ANSI C standard. Okay, so you should always check with your compiler documentation about implementation specifics. Okay, so if a calling convention other than CDECL is to be used, or if CDECL is not the default for your compiler and you want to manually use it, you must specify the calling conversion keyword in the function declaration itself. Okay, and in any prototypes, okay, for that function. Okay, and this is important because both the calling function and the code function need to know the calling convention. Okay, so let us take a look at the CDECL calling convention. Okay, so in the CDECL calling convention, the following holds. Okay, and the first one is that arguments are passed on the stack in right to left order, and return values are passed in EAX. Okay, and the next one is that the calling function cleans the stack. Okay, and this allows CDECL functions to have variable length argument. Okay, variable argument lists. Okay, or also known as variadic functions. Okay, and for this reason, the number of arguments is not appended to the name of a function by the compiler. Okay, and the assembler and the linker are therefore unable to determine if an incorrect number of arguments is used. Okay, so variadic functions usually have a special entry code generated by the var underscore start function and the var underscore argument function as C pseudo functions. Okay, so let us consider this first example here that we have. Let's consider this first example. As you can see here, we are specifying the calling convention which this function is using. As you can see here, we are having underscore. We use the underscore, then the name of that calling convention. It's CDECL. Okay, calling convention. For those who have ever programmed in C and you have ever encountered these calling conventions, you can get to know what I'm talking about. Okay, but here we are taking a look at even the assembly part, okay, of these calling conventions. Okay, so here we are using CDECL calling convention, and then our function that returns an integer, and then the name of our function called my function 1. Okay, it takes two parameters, a and b. Okay, and then inside it returns a plus b. Okay, it returns the summation of a and b, like that. Okay, and this one we can now call it like this. We can store the return value of this function inside our x variable, and then we can call our function, and we provide those two arguments like that. Okay, so from there these would produce the following assembly listings, okay, respectively. Okay, so for example, in the first one we have our function. Okay, we use semicolon underscore my function 1, and then we push EBP, then we move ESP into EBP, and then we use the move instruction again, even the move instruction again, and then we add what is in EDX into EAX, and then we pop what has been in the EBP from the stack, like that. Okay, so this one, this piece of assembly code is the same as this one here. Okay, is the same as that C code right there. Okay, and then down here, and we don't forget the return. Okay, to return like that, and from here this line is going to generate this piece of code down here. Okay, down here, right here. Okay, so as you can see right here, so let me bring a little bit, bring that one a little bit there, and I try to expand so that you can see what's going on. Okay, let me try to expand. Okay, like that. Okay, as you can see here, we are calling our function and then we are returning the returned value into, we are storing it into X variable. Okay, like that. Okay, so here we don't mind about specifying the data type. You can try to specify it, but we don't want to specify it. Okay, so we are just trying to write a pseudocode. Okay, we're just trying to write something that looks like an algorithm. Okay, using the C words, okay, or the C keywords. Okay, like that. Okay, so this line is going to generate this piece of code. So here, as you can see, we are pushing 3, okay, onto the stack, and then we are pushing 2 onto the stack, and then we are calling our function. Okay, and then we are restoring, we are restoring, okay, the ESP register, as you can see, like that. Okay, by moving 4 bytes onto, by adding 8 bytes onto the ESP, okay, onto the stack, like that. Okay, like that. Okay, so when this one is translated to assembly code, CDECL functions are almost always prepended with an underscore. Okay, that is why all previous examples we used to have underscore, okay, in assembly code. Okay, like this one. Okay, so this is the calling convention. As you can see here, our function is prepended with an underscore, or is concatenated with an underscore, okay, at the start, like this. As you can see, in every occurrence we are having that underscore there. Okay, so in the next part we shall take a look at another C calling convention, okay, which is the next one is going to be std call. Okay.